Hi, this is Thinking Solo. I'm Ryan DeRusso, a fee-only financial planner. Today I want to talk about one of the biggest concerns that those who work for themselves have, and that's the fear of losing clients. It's my experience that this fear can overwhelm someone who works for themselves in the sense that they only focus on that. They want to do a solid job for their clients, they want to get more clients, they want to retain clients, and it comes at the cost of other financial tactics and strategies to help and build the business. So today I want to talk about a few strategies, tactics that you can take on to ensure fewer or reduce that fear of client loss. But before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let's dig in. The first strategy that you can implement to reduce the fear of losing clients is make sure you're building a pricing model that works for you. I used to be, long before I was a planner, I used to be a personal finance journalist, and I worked for myself for many, many years in this capacity. And that's a very difficult field to work for yourself because of the scarcity of outlets and the competition for work. But I made it work. And so how did I make it work? It's because I didn't really focus on a set payment from the client. What I focused on was the hourly rate that I was receiving from said client. So if they came to me and said, we want this piece written for $1,000, it wasn't necessarily the amount of money that it was coming in, although if it got really large, you could change that. But at $1,000, it wasn't necessarily that. But instead, what it was could I accomplish that goal in 4 or 5 hours? If I could write it, put it together well, do the interviews that were needed, and get that to the client in 4 to 5 hours, then my hourly rate becomes $200 to $250 an hour. And that became how I was able to ensure that I had work, I had paying work that matched my goals. You can do the same in your own field. Say you're a therapist and you're coming across people who may not be able to pay that hourly rate that you really target for yourself, but can that be adjusted? Would they match your 30-minute rate? It may take a few more sessions in order to really see results for the client, but at least you can take them on, get them started, and you're still matching the rate that you need to succeed. You may be wondering, if I was able to create such a rate for myself, why I would switch out of writing. The answer is really twofold. First, I really wanted to work one-on-one with people to really change their lives and help them kind of manage their goals. But the reason was simply because of the highs and lows of writing. When you work for yourself in that capacity, I could only get like 4 or 5 clients at a time. And no matter what I did, I could never really get beyond the 4 or 5 mark. And so what would happen is, internal things would change or the economy would change, and suddenly 2 or 3 would leave, and I'm suddenly at a loss. And I could never create the diversity in the clients that I needed to ensure I avoided those highs and lows. But you can in your self-employment business. If you're a therapist, you might have 50 to 100 clients. If you are a recruiter, you could work with many different organizations. But don't just diversify the number of clients. Also focus on the sector in which your clients work in. If you're a recruiter and you recruit for tech companies, also work with other organizations that need tech help. Any organization, any sector now needs technology help. So you don't just have to focus on technology firms, and diversifying the type of sector can also ensure that if, say, a job loss hits the technology sector, it may not be hitting the bank sector or some other. And so that creates diversity that really can last for a long time. The next suggestion is make sure to build backstop to your client base. If you watch any of my videos for very long, you'll hear me reiterate over and over again building a backstop. It's one of the most important things you can do in the self-employment space because you're on your own, and so you don't want to put all your eggs in a proverbial basket and just hope for the best. Instead, protecting yourself with these backstops will go a long way to protect your business, protect you, and your family, really. And so, how do you do that in when you're talking about client base? It's really of one, a financial move. Make sure to build out a business emergency fund. So have 4 to 6 months of not only your salary but also taxes saved up in your business account. So no matter what happens with your clients, it doesn't impact what you're paying yourself every month, at least in the short term. And then with that covered in the short term, you can then go out and find new clients or maybe take some time to whatever is impacting the sector for that to dissipate. The other thing to do is never stop marketing yourself. It's easy when you're self-employed and you have a few clients and they're really paying you well to kind of take it easy, sit back, and enjoy that. But don't stop marketing yourself, because the more incoming business that you have, the better protected you're going to be if a client leaves or multiple clients leave. One of the most important things I tell clients when they are concerned about this is make sure to invest in retirement. You might wonder, what's that have to do with clients? But investing in retirement and your long-term wealth is a business building tool. The more you are setting aside for retirement, you are saving on taxes. That's keeping revenues within the business. You're also putting it into an account that's growing over long term, so you've created wealth for yourself in that process. Over time, that creates this secondary income source, and that's the goal for the long term. But that wealth also encourages you to continue to invest in the business and find other outlets to diversify your income streams, because now you're feeling more comfortable about what you've accomplished and where you're standing, so you feel that flexibility to do so. Creating these different diverse income streams, whether it's retirement, whether it's another business or another tool that you're selling, this all creates a sort of Kevlar from the potential of client loss. And that in the long term, that makes you almost bulletproof to those client loss. Of course, we never lose sight that we have to give our clients, the best service and whatnot, but at least it protects us from, sudden client flight and whatnot. So how do you build a client-proof business? Tell me in the comments below. This has been Thinking Solo. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.